Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute. Now, it's been a while since I uploaded anything. Been kind of busy. A little bit grizzled today too. Just been working here on my computer. It's actually right here. I'm going to use that to upload this in a few minutes. I've been spending most of my time writing, working on my book, a bunch of other stuff too. So, there's something I've been wanting to talk about, but haven't really gotten the gumption to do it. I'm still kind of working on it, and that is world building in space empires. Yeah. Star Trek, Star Wars, I'm coming for you. Your world building is illogical. We're going to have a chat about it. But until then, I want to talk about just kind of general stuff that we always see in not just space operas like Star Wars and Star Trek, but also other sci-fi properties where there's massive empires in space. It drives me crazy. Okay, so let's say that the planet I'm currently on, which is Earth, it's the only one I've ever been on and only one I probably ever will be on. Even if I have the opportunity, I'm staying here. You can't make me leave. Shut up. Okay? Let's say that this planet is the capital of a space empire. Okay? Now, here's what a lot of people don't understand. Our system, okay, the star system that we are in, from the Oort cloud to the Oort cloud is, give or take, 2 light years across. So, traveling at the speed of light, it will take you 2 years. Now, currently, as far as we understand physics, that is as fast as you can go as light in a vacuum. Assuming you can survive it, Mari, assuming you can survive that, if you enter the system and are just passing through it, it will take you 2 years. 2 full years. If you don't stop. Okay? Now, the next nearest system is the Centaurus system. That is Alpha Centauri, A, B, and Proxima. It's a trinary system. Okay? We also call it the Alpha Centauri system, but details. Anyway, that is 4.5 years away. Okay? I believe that's to the center, and a trinary system is probably going to be a lot bigger than a unit 1-star system. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Mari wanted to be let out. Now, as I was saying, it's 4.5 light years away from our system. So let's assume that, another light year, so top end of 5, just in case. Okay? That's just to the next system over. Now let's say that we have and every single system is available that we know of, has a planet conducive to human life. Okay? Never mind any kind of random poisons or weird effects from the plant life or giant predators or parasites or whatever that's lurking about. We can live there and be happy. Okay? Now let's say that we have basically a flat spheroid thingy of an empire based on, the geometry of where everything is. And it's 36 light years from Earth to the furthest one out. Okay? 36 light years. Fastest you can go is the speed of light. I already see a problem. Okay? So, Emperor comes to power and says, "Hello everybody, I'm the new Emperor. Haha." Well, transmission gets sent out, speed of light, and the colony, all the way out there, gets notified of a brand new emperor 36 years after the fact. Now, I was born 2 years before that happened. So I'm a 2-year-old when the emperor comes to power. It's going to be a little while before we do or do not know if he's an idiot. And let's say by the time that colony gets the message, I'm 38, just like I am right now. Okay? But by the time they actually care, I'm middle-aged. Okay? And the emperor, that happened to be an idiot, we found out 4 years into his term, 4 years into his reign, well, we had a civil war and took care of that problem. And they're just like, hey, how's the new emperor? Who? Oh, him! Yeah, we deposed him. Okay? And now this, the kid who was 2 years old is now the emperor. Okay? He's 70. So by the time that colony gets there, in order to say, hooray! Yeah, the little kid's now 70 some odd years old. Okay? It's not feasible. All right? Now, in the 36 years since I was 2 years old, that was 1985, lots happened since then. Berlin Wall fell. USSR collapsed. Apartheid ended in South Africa. United States has had a black president, an actor president, an idiot, a businessman, all as president. We've had, let's see here, a lot of things happen. Okay? A lot of stuff in 36 years. Huge time scale here. Okay? But as far as even just the history of a country, that's almost nothing. History of a planet? What are you talking about? That didn't happen. Okay? It's too small. You can't even notice it. Okay? History of the universe? There was a planet. Okay? So, when it comes to size, and this is what a lot of writers just don't understand, the size is directly proportional to the amount of time it takes you to go from the capital to the furthest point. Okay? Even if, let's say my empire is 5 miles wide, okay? From edge to edge, it's only 5 American miles, okay? And it's square, okay? Just to keep it simple, okay? That's 25 square miles, okay? Now, let's say for me to walk from edge to edge takes me 2.5 years to walk 5 miles. Because reasons, okay? It's going to be pretty difficult to govern that, okay? Enough problems are going to come up in that 25-mile square area that if I'm over on mile 1 of 1, because it's a grid, me getting over to 25 is going to be unbelievably hard, okay? I won't be able to get there in time to make sure that the people in my empire are safe and still paying their taxes. Mari's playing now. Anyway. So, that's why we've never had a globe-spanning empire. We've never had a continent-spanning empire. There's just too much territory. We can't govern it all. You can't get there in time, okay? But what about the British Empire? Well, yeah, they had territory in literally every single time zone on the planet. The sun never set, okay? And that lasted for only a few decades. The Great War destroyed that. What was the Great War? World War I. So, the issue comes in, how can you get information to the people and let them know what the rules are, okay? Also, can the people in your empire communicate effectively? Okay. Now, in the United States, we primarily speak English. Okay. Now, there's plenty of people that speak Arabic, Farsi, otherwise known as Persian, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, of course, and several other languages as a first language. Okay. And some of those people do not speak English at all. yet we still manage to function. That's because we have made allowances for this. Okay? Now let's say you live in a country where they don't make an allowance for it. Okay? Yeah, you're a citizen, but you don't know what's going on. Okay? Are you going to be willing to listen? Because someone has to tell you everything that's going on in your language. How do you know they're telling you the truth? Okay? Also, let's say that everybody does speak the same language, but it's a little bit different. Okay? Just look at Great Britain. How many accents are there? How many dialects are there? Okay? One of my favorites is Cockney. I love Cockney. It's so much fun. Okay? But somebody from the rich part of London sounds completely different from the poor part of London, which bears absolutely no resemblance to Newcastle. And don't even get me started on Cardiff. Okay? Also, think about here in the U.S., okay? Just New York City, all right? There's a lot more than this, but let's just look at the three major ones. You got Queens, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. All three sound very, very different, and they're all basically within walking distance of each other, okay? Now, consider adding in, Texas to that mix, okay? But let's not pick on English too much. Let's go to Germany. Let's go to Italy. Did you know there's places there where you can walk across the street in the exact same city? The two of you have grown up next to each other. You never met until today because reasons, and you can't understand each other. Yeah, you both speak the exact same language. I have no idea what he's saying. Okay? Because he refers to things completely differently. It is that different. Okay? English is, as we understand it, 500 years old. Okay? English itself, Old English, is 1,000 years ago. Or is that Middle English? I forget. Anyway, if you were to go back to about 1450, you would be hard-pressed as an English speaker to survive in England just talking. Okay, you would have to learn how to talk, and it's going to take you about 2 months to do that. Okay? Likewise, if they came to our time, they're screwed. Okay? So, now let's spread this out. Let's say that one planet speaks a given language, okay? And they then pass that language on to another planet that they colonize. 100 years later, very, very different ways of talking. They might be able to communicate effectively-ish, but there's going to be an accent, there's going to be a difference of dialect, and I cannot be free of noises. Thank you. Now, let's say that your empire spans a significant portion of the galaxy. Okay? Now let's say you can get to those in a reasonable amount of time. There's going to be differences. Okay? Not just in the way people talk, but the way people act. The technology that they've come up with. Because every single planet's going to be a little bit different. They're going to have to come up with new and interesting ways to fix things. People are going to come up with new and interesting designs of doing the exact same thing. Okay? So, there's not going to be a lot of cohesion in that empire. Okay? Because, what does planet A have any knowledge of planet Q? Okay? It doesn't, they're nothing alike. We think different, we eat different, we act different, we do things completely different. We don't even have the same holidays. Okay? Why do we hang out? Okay? Because there's no unity of culture. Language is an aspect of culture. Religion is an aspect of culture. Food is an aspect of culture. The building I'm in is an aspect of culture. Okay? The materials used, the form they take, whether the things butt in at a right angle, or at a slightly skewed angle, or at an angle like this. Okay? That's all cultural. Okay? Uniformity of culture adds cohesion to the empire. Lack of uniformity breaks that down. Okay? Basic stuff. It's actually one of the reasons why the Roman Empire fell. It wasn't just because, barbarians were coming in. No, that was just the stiff wind that blew it over. when we look at writings from the late Empire, there was so much of a difference between what we now call Brittany and what we now call Puglia that how are you guys in the same country? Okay? Just the way they spoke, ate, acted, everything. Yeah, they all spoke Latin, but it wasn't the same Latin. Okay? The basics of what would become French and what would become Italian were already starting to show up at that point. Okay? A little bit more down the road, and those languages came up, but, details. So, if there's no cohesion and no similarity in your empire cannot stand. Okay? Everything, it needs to be easy to go from end to end and from capital to outlying territory in your empire. Okay? You need to get information out there. You need to have cohesion of culture, cohesion of religion. You don't all have to have the same religion, mind you, or any religion for that matter. But there needs to be cohesion within the populace on a vast amount. Otherwise, the empire will not survive. And the less cohesion there is, the less time that it's going to make it. Okay? And that's one of the things that drives me nuts. Okay? With great and sprawling empires in space. The galaxy that they exist in is so freaking big. We're assuming it's ours. And I believe the Milky Way is 100,000 light years from end to end. Something like that? Or 1 billion? I forget. Anyway, it's some huge number. Okay? It's so big that, well, when dinosaurs were on this planet, we were on the other side of the galaxy. Yeah. Our star system migrates around it. It's called a galactic year. Anyway. What they don't understand with these is it's just too big, okay? What I would expect to happen with a space empire is your average space country is going to be a few systems. One, it would be considered what we would know as a city-state. Whereas your average one will probably be 5 systems or so. Okay, just kind of trying to get by. And your big ones, honestly, top end at 20, maybe 50 on that would be the 800-pound gorilla. Okay, depending on how many habitable planets are in those systems. Okay. Just because the scales of everything are just so monumentally huge, it's not believable to me, okay? And I'm not the only one that feels that way. So, if you watch this video and you decide you want to write a new space opera, please do, please do. Keep that in mind, okay? Try to link it to stuff we already know in the world, okay? Try to help your reader, your viewer, your audience understand that this could conceivably happen, okay? Now, it can be wild and outlandish too, okay? I'm not trying to hamper your creativity here, okay? But nobody ever put down a book, turned off a movie, completed a TV show, and said, you know something? The realism and groundedness of that piece of intellectual property and entertainment really took me out of it. I don't think I can continue. Okay? What usually pushes people out is, this is ridiculous. Okay? So, that's my 2 cents on it. So, if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, go ahead and put that down in the comments. Leave a like. please feel free to share. And if you want to put in a request for me to talk about anything else, by all means, feel free. If it's something I can and will do, I will do it. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye now.